If you have had a facelift and you're still bruised and swollen, but you have to go out in public, this video is for you because I'm gonna show you all the tricks to go from this to this. Straight off, I'm gonna tell you it's a long video. That is why I've given you the opportunity to skip over whatever parts you wanna skip over. But after you've had a facelift, sometimes it's just kind of fun to talk to other people who have also had a facelift. People are so secretive about their facelifts that it's kind of an isolating thing to go through. So I just enjoyed chatting with you since I'm here all by myself and I put on this makeup just for you because I have nowhere to go. So my background is in makeup and aesthetics. So I have never had to have the challenge of putting makeup on after a facelift. So this is a first for me. So we're kind of going along using the tips that I already know how to do things and then making it work for a facelift. We are gonna get makeup done, but we're gonna take our time doing it. So now let's get started. We had a facelift and now we are in the midst of trying to heal. I am one of those people that gets super impatient, but it has been a struggle for me to heal. I have really had to reassess my life and bring it all down. Tomorrow is gonna mark 3 weeks of surgery day. So it's been a while and I still look like this. But I don't really need to go out. I don't have anywhere that I go that I have to be at. I haven't really told anybody about this just because I didn't want people's opinions. And I know that I would get a lot of negative opinions and I just wasn't interested. So I just decided I'm gonna do this without telling anybody. And then when it's all said and done, obviously I'm telling everybody, but I just didn't want people to know ahead of time. So I haven't been going anywhere. I'm 60 years old. I am a skincare junkie. I love doing procedures. I love all kinds of stuff like this. So over the years, I have done so many things and never cared. Always went out. If my face was swollen and I looked ridiculous, it never bothered me. But this time I have been hiding out. So I kind of want to go from no one knowing to the big reveal. So I have just been letting it heal on its own. I have just experimented a little bit here and there with makeup just for the fun of it. But because my energy level is so low, just putting on makeup is fun for me. So I do enjoy that part. But then after, taking it off just feels like a chore. And so I have not been putting on a lot of makeup. I have mostly been trying to just let my body heal. If you're that person that needs to go to work, but you don't want to go looking like a super freak, you want to bring the freakness down a little bit, here are some of the tips that I can help you with that will just make that going out into public a little less dramatic for people to look at you and go, oh, what just happened to you? One thing I would say is I didn't have my eyes done, but my eyes do really seem to be affected by it. I always wake up in the middle of the night. I have my little dropper right beside my bed. I'll put in drops. I have the cream that I put a whole line of cream in there. So I've been really keeping my eyes lubricated, but they still are red. So I would start with some Lumify. So just putting a drop in each eye is just gonna really help. And then do things to distract. For instance, use the Crest white strips or whatever you use to whiten your teeth. Do things that are going to distract from this, the things that are still intact and still look good. Sort of emphasize those. My scars around where the stitches were have been healing beautifully. They still didn't take these stitches out along here or around my ear because I had a little episode. After about 4 days, I started walking. One day I did go out, it was on day 9, and it was warmer than I had anticipated. When I got home from that walk, I thought I was gonna faint. I needed to sit down, and then that afternoon, I was just sitting at my computer. I was doing absolutely nothing. Well, I was not doing anything, but there was a situation going on in my life that was upsetting to me, and I was talking about that, and that I think did really make my blood pressure elevate. And from 1 second to the next, I could feel the entire side of my face just seize up, and it just got about 3 times bigger than it was. So this side of my face has always been more swollen than this side. So this side is still pretty swollen. This side is not bad at all. I mean, it feels pretty good. Under here, this bruise is healing pretty well. This side right here was very super bruised. So that is changing a little bit, just a little bit of purple, you know, lots of yellow. This was very, very, very bruised in here, and now it's moved down just about 2 days ago. It moved down here, and this great big black thing appeared. It's come down my neck and even into my chest. My doctor said it might even go right down into my stomach as it all goes downwards, and that's a good thing. So let's deal with the different colors. The swelling, it's a tricky one. The bruises are so easy. I have another video on just how to cover up a bruise. I bruise easily, so just going for filler or Botox, I'll usually end up with a bruise. So the swelling makes it a little trickier, but we'll do things with bronzer and just contouring and just trying to even things out a little bit that way. Where they took the stitches out, you can really hardly even see that they're there anymore. I use my Truth Treatment System Omega 6 Healing Cream. This stuff is so good. I rave about it constantly. I've been using it for a couple of years for any sort of procedure that I use. My doctor told me for the first 2 weeks until he took the stitches out, he said to just put Aquaphor. Nothing else, just Aquaphor. Did that maybe for the first couple of days, because the first couple of days I didn't even know what I was doing. My husband was the one taking care of me. He turned into a saint. He was very sweet, and he would put the Aquaphor all over. He made sure I took the right medications. You need someone like that to do that for you those first few days. When I started taking over, then I started using my Truth Treatment, and I would do that, and then I would seal it in with the Aquaphor. Once the stitches came out, then he said, just keep it clean and dry. That's the only thing you need to do. But I kept using the Truth Serum, which I'm still using it. If there's little spots that look red or whatever, I'm still using that. As far as my face, the only thing I'm really using is like an oil, a bio oil, or just something that's easy to like smooth over. I don't want any pulling. Everything just feels still a little sensitive. My eyebrows are a little funky and weird. They're kind of higher than they should be. Everything's not quite right yet. So we gotta try and make things look a little more normal before they become normal. So that's what we're gonna try and do today. So even though I already did do some oil on my face, I'm just gonna go over it real quick with some Prime Prometic, the Nourish. It just makes things feel soft and smooth, and I just really like the feel of it. So I'm just gonna go over with that just to help everything glide on nice and smoothly. Everything I do really gently. I don't want any more complications like I had on day 9 where this side of my face blew up. So I have been doing everything gently. And when you are doing makeup, make sure everything is going upwards. Always go upwards. All right, so let's start with the bruising. I use the NYX, this little color corrector concealer. It has 6 different colors in there, and you can see they are well loved and well used because this girl has had lots of use covering up bruises over the years. I am going to start with the color wheel. So you just need to look on your phone, pull up a color wheel. So what we want to do is look on the color wheel for yellow and look across and see what is the opposite. And that's the color you're going to put on the yellow. Then this area right here is kind of more of a purpley. So you look at the purple, you go across and see the color that is opposite the purple, and that's what you put on. So you always do the opposite of what you find on the color wheel. This is an interesting color that I have going on right here. I think wasn't yesterday, but the day before, where I woke up and it was right there, which actually after my face blew up, the doctor did say that the whole side of my face might bruise because of that. But it took a week before this came out, maybe even more than a week for this to come up. This color is kind of almost a blacky sort of a color. So I'm not sure what we're gonna do to cover that up, but we'll figure it out. So let's get started. So opposite of yellow, and the yellows vary too, and you can see that on the color wheel. If it's a bright yellow or more of a mustard yellow, this I think is more of a mustard yellow, and that points more towards a blue. So since I don't have blue in this little case that I have, I pulled out just a blue eyeshadow. So this Natasha Denona has this light blue right here that I used last time I tried to cover up that color. So let's just start by putting a little concealer just to give it a little grip. And I'm just using cheap Maybelline eraser. And I'm just gonna put that on there just so that that eyeshadow will have a little grip. Otherwise it won't have anything to really stick to. So I mean, that right in itself is doing a good job of concealing. At this point, this area over here is starting to look pretty good. I'm not even sure that I need to go in with anything else right there, but I'm gonna go in just with a little bit because that's just how I roll. Almost just set it with a little bit of this blue, really just a dusting of it. Then I always use a loose powder. This honestly is my favorite. It's the Maybelline Fit Me. I just open it up, put some in there. I just set it with that. And the eyelids too. Like I said, I didn't do my eyes, but they were very veiny. They're less veiny now, but that's something that just concealer is gonna help with that. Also, since I already put it on that side, let me put a little more over on this side. And then here, all in here is also that yellowy color. And because this Maybelline has a very pink undertone, pink really is going to help with the sort of yellowy, greeny colors. So that's why this is really working really, really well on this yellow color. I'm actually gonna try and cover up that blue that I put on there because that was not really necessary. So really just doing that has made a tremendous difference. Another thing that I would tell you that is a really good thing to do, and I don't know that I would want to do it after my facelift, but I might do it just before my facelift, is to go in and get the lash extensions, because anything that's going to sort of help brighten up your eyes is going to help you look better. And getting the lash extensions before your facelift might help because you're not really, you're not putting on makeup, so you're not really washing off your eyes, so the lashes will last a lot longer. You're sleeping elevated on your back, so by the time you get to your 3-week point, you're probably still gonna have those lashes there. I'm gonna put on false lashes after we do this. Okay, let's finish covering up the bruises. So this one, it's actually starting to get a little yellow around the edges. So let's just cover up the edges. And under my chin, I'm having a little, it's still stiff right in here, so putting my head super back is not that easy. And you don't want to be forcing yourself to do anything that feels uncomfortable. Anytime I ever put on makeup, I didn't put anything along here. That sort of thing freaks me out. I don't want to think of it getting infected in any way, so I have not put any sort of makeup anywhere close to that. They are really healed up now, so I'm not worried about it. I'm not gonna put any sort of concealer on that because I just don't want to take any chance of any infection happening. And then always layered. I mean, you might have to go in so many layers with so many different colors. If you go watch my video where I just do the bruising part, I think you might get more out of that one if you know you really have a lot of bruising. All right, what color do we think this is? I'm gonna say very deep purple. So across from very deep purple, they say lime green. No, I don't really have lime green, so I'm gonna mix the green and the yellow together to give it more of a lime green. I'm just gonna put on my finger and then I'm just gonna dab it in. I'm gonna put a little down here too. Another thing, as your face heals, you're gonna get a lot of distortion. My doctor explained to me there are so many stitches underneath that we don't see, and they're dissolving at different stages. So as one dissolves, you might get a little pucker somewhere. I have a little pucker up here, and you know, so those are things that he told me not to freak out about, that everything is gonna even out in the end. But right here, I have a little bump. I mean, when you do something like this, I've done so many treatments and none of it ever bothers me. You know, I'm an esthetician by trade. It's always been things that are superficial and, you know, chemical peels or, you know, lasers, and none of that really scared me. But this did, to a point where I really wanted to be very, 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 very careful, because there's just so much stuff going underneath that I don't even know about. And after I had that little explosion over on this side, and that was definitely a wake-up call that I needed to slow things down. I stopped walking, and he had me taking my blood pressure every day, several times a day, and I was struggling to keep it down. Something also that I just started doing a couple of days ago is the Hof breathing, and shocking how that works. It's so simple, it's so easy. Now I just, before I even get out of bed, I just a little YouTube on where he walks you through the breathing, and you just do this breathing, you know, sessions of 3. Brings my blood pressure right down. It's amazing. Okay, so I'm just going to cover this green here up with my concealer. And I like this concealer too because it's gentle. It's easy to just sort of press it in. And then again, just set it. And because of the layers, your makeup look is gonna be a little thicker than you would probably wear your makeup. But I think that looks better than that great big black thing that was on the side of my face. Yeah, it's weird. From day one, this side of my face has always been more swollen. Like this side of my lip was like, I was like Two-Faced. This was like up. It's still a little bit up. Already, doesn't it look so much better? All right, let's put some foundation. For the foundation, really go with your absolutely favorite die-hard, you always go to it when you want perfection foundation. That would probably be my Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Foundation. I have a couple of colors depending on the season. This one is 5.5. It's pretty good for, you know, when I'm a little lighter, I'm less tanned. I never tan, but I always self-tan, so a little less self-tan than maybe normal. But it's just, I know it looks good on me. I know it's flawless and I can trust it. And when putting on the foundation, I want to be really gentle because I don't want any of the areas that I have covered up, the bruising, to move. I want all that to stay in its place. So I'm really going to pat more than anything else. And I'm going to avoid the under eye area just to keep that as light and bright as possible. I also stay away from where the stitches were. Even though they're really healed, I mean, you can hardly even see the line anymore. I'm gonna do my hair after and I'm gonna bring it down, so I just don't feel the need to go that close to where the stitches were. I just want to keep everything as clean as possible. Always remembering to go up. I'm going to avoid the ears. I usually will go over the ears, but they're still a little swollen, they're a little tender. I'm just going to sort of avoid the areas that I don't feel comfortable really touching. And especially in those areas where I've covered up the bruises, I just pat. Don't really do anything more than just pat it in. I mean, gals, we're looking pretty good. Just imagine what it's gonna look like when everything is healed, everything has calmed down, no more swelling, no more bruising. And then hopefully we'll say it was worth it. So let's try to do a little contouring. I have this Fenty Beauty contour stick that I use. What color is it? Mocha. With the swelling, it's pretty tricky to really get definition, but we're just gonna give it a little try and just go under where the swelling is. It's mostly on this side, so I'm gonna go a little heavier on this side and then just a little bit on this side. Another place I think I'm gonna do some contouring, let me just blend this in first. And I like to use the same brush I used for my foundation to blend it in. I find it really helps to blend a little better. Just patting it, because of course I had the bruise there as well. So again, I don't want to move what is already there. And like I was saying before, try to emphasize the areas that haven't been touched. So nothing has happened to my nose, nothing has happened to my mouth. So I am going to contour on the side of my nose, and then I'll highlight the top of it and sort of just try to get my nose more prominent. I'm gonna put a little of the contour under here so that after, maybe that'll help bring out my lips a little bit. Give a little pucker under there. Try to make my bottom lip look a little puckered. And now I'm just gonna go in with some concealer. I'm not sure if I might put some highlighter, maybe. Let's start with concealer. I'm gonna use this one from NARS. It is Radiant Creamy Concealer, and just go down the base of my nose to the tip. And then I'm gonna go along my upper lip. Again, just trying to bring a little attention to this part of my face, so maybe no one will notice the sides of my puffy face. And while we're at it, let's just add a little more concealer under the eyes to see if we can just brighten that up a little bit more. He put fat transfer under here since I didn't get my eyes done. And somewhere that I normally put contouring is down along under my chin, but I don't feel the need to do that. It feels kind of tight and kind of the shape that it should be, so I'm not even gonna bother doing that. Let's grab some bronzer. So I just got this new Gucci one from the Sephora sale. I have it already in the number 3, and I tried the number 1 this time. I haven't tried it. It's brand new. So let me just see how that looks with it. I really only buy makeup twice a year during the 2 Sephora sales. Basically replenish what I need and then get a little something that maybe I've been wanting to try, or maybe something in a different color, like I want to try a different color. And since we are bronzing, let's just bronze down here too. Bring it down the neck a little bit. I like this one better than the 3 for more of a light look. The 3 is a little more dramatic. I think this is actually gonna end up being my favorite one. I also just got this new highlighter. It's called Enlightened by Rare Beauty. It's almost like a white color. Again, look at brand new, have not tried it yet. What do you think? Should I do a little highlight here? I don't know. Let's live on the wild side. Let's do a little highlight right in there. A little highlight on the chinny chin chin. And of course, the upper lip. And something else new that I got. This is Feeling Cheeky Ex-Girlfriend. It is the Give, and it has 2 different shades of pink in it, and they just look so pretty to me. I could not resist, but I think I'm gonna go with the lighter one today, because let's try and keep things a little lighter on the areas that have still a little work in healing to be done. It looks like it's going to be pretty pigmented. That's a really nice soft pink. And then keeping it nice and high, and just go up a little bit. Let's give the nose a little bit of sunshine, like I've been out in the sun. So for the eyes, I think it's good to keep it a little more neutral, not really do anything too nuts. I know that since my eyes aren't really puffy, that might be a place to really bring attention, but I think it's better to bring attention just with the lashes. On the lids, I'm gonna keep it kind of neutral. I'm gonna use this little Naked 3 Urban Decay Mini. It has a little glitter and it has some mattes, so it'll just be a quick little easy eyeshadow look. So I'll start with Right Time, the second one right here. I'm not gonna go super dark. I'm gonna keep it pretty light using a pretty small little brush. And then I'm just gonna go from the crease down to my lash line. I just place the brush right on the lid, right in that area, from the lid to the lash line. And then whatever is left over, I just gently, because I don't want anything rough. I don't want any rough movements. Really lightly windshield it back and forth. And then for the under eye, I think I'll go with this little laced up. It's a little pinky. So I'm just gonna do a little bit under there. I wanna keep it light under there. And then I'm going to go in with that same color that I put under my eyelid with a nice big fluffy brush. And then I'm just gonna blend what I did in the crease just a little higher. And then to give the corners a little pop, I'm gonna go in with this light glassy color. I'm gonna try doing it with my finger, but I think my nails are just a little too long to get. Yeah, it's not gonna work. I'll just use this one. Just right in the corner and maybe just a little bit up the sides. Right in the corner and a little bit, tiny little bit up the side. And then I'll take this pink Public and I will just run it right across my lid. And then after I do that, I just like to go in again with that first one I went into, Right Time, and just kind of make sure everything is kind of blended on the edges. So to really emphasize the lashes, a really nice thing to do is to get in right at the roots and really get in there with like a dark black, either shadow or eyeliner. And I started using an eyeliner since I got this Prime Prometics one, just because it's really soft and it melts in there. But once it melts in, it stays and it doesn't move. So I've been using that instead of the eyeshadow. I was using just a really fine brush and an eyeshadow. That is another option you can use, but this has no fallout and it just melts in between all the lashes to give that definition right where you want it, right where the lashes come out of your eyeballs. And it's not necessary to get like a straight line across. What I kind of do is just dig into where the lashes are, more of a dig, and then just sort of go in and blend it after. But really right at that base. You don't want it to look like a black line. You want it to look like your eyelashes are very defined. And I don't even bring it down here. I just do wherever the lashes are coming out, that's where I put it. And this Prime Prometics eyeliner comes with a little smudger on the other side, so I don't even have to go get a brush. I'm just gonna use this to smudge it in. It doesn't really even need any smudging. It just really melts in so easily. And there's no tugging or pulling. That's why I usually don't use an eyeliner. I don't like the tugging or pulling, but this works really well. And of course, you know I'm gonna leave everything that I use in the comments. I pinned the first comment, I list everything there, and it's also in the description box. So if there's anything you want, you don't want to go out shopping, right? You want to leave the house as least often as possible. So just click a link and you will be there. I'm going to put on some lashes. This kiss is my favorite. These ones are really my everyday favorite ones. They're light, they're feathery, they don't look fake. Sometimes if I'm going out, I want to look like super full glam, I'll do something a little darker. But these ones are just kind of perfection for just making your eyelashes look super natural. Nobody ever even thinks that I have lashes on. It doesn't look like I'm wearing false lashes. So I'm gonna show you how I do them. This is gonna be a really long video. It's chatty. I think it's just kind of fun when you're going through a facelift. I wish I had someone I could just sit and chat with about the dilemmas and the hard parts about going through a facelift. So this is more just a chatty kind of a video. But if you know you will absolutely never, ever, ever do your own eyelashes, or you're a pro and you're like, I'm good, Carolyn, I know how to put on my own eyelashes, then just go ahead and skip over it. I have given you that option to just do that. So something that you have to be careful about is they glue them on there a little tighter than I sometimes like. So I take my tweezers, I make sure I get right in on the edge of it, and I pull it off really gently. I only use one. Can you see how light and feathery that is? Isn't that just so perfect? So all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fold it in half. I'm gonna make the two ends meet, so I know I'm getting it exactly in half. So it's pretty hard to see these little lashes on the camera. If I drop one, it's gone. I just have to give up and say it's gone forever, because once one of these suckers drops, I know I'm never finding it again. And then I take a little pair of scissors and right in the middle, I cut it. So now I have two equal sized lashes, and sometimes they're not completely even. It's kind of hard to get them exactly. I can see this time one side is longer than the other. What are you gonna do? And actually I forgot to do this, but normally I would get the glue going right away. So I just put a little bit of glue right there, just on top of the box. When it dries, it peels right off. And I just let it dry there for a minute, usually while I'm cutting my lashes. What you'll notice too is one end is longer and then the other end is shorter. So you want to take the longer end and put it on the eye where the longest part of the lash is going to be on your outer eye. So I go right along the edge. And the important thing is to make sure both ends have a nice little dot on it. You don't want too much, but you don't want too little. It's a trial and error kind of thing. Sometimes I put too much and then I just kind of wipe it off. And then I just kind of shake it for a couple of seconds. I want it to be a little tacky before I try to put it on my eyelid. And another thing I'll do too is I'll kind of give it a little wiggle, 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 just to give it a little more pliability so that when it goes on, it's more flexible. And then I just lay it right on there. Getting it as close to the lash line as possible. I have this little thing here. I've had it for so long, I don't even know where I got it. It says Lash Star, and it's pretty handy at getting the lash in there. So I start by making sure that the end is glued down, and when I do that, often the other end pops up. It didn't actually happen this time, but then I go in and make sure the other end is glued down. And once I'm sure about the two ends, the middle part is less of a concern, but then I just lay the whole thing down and just hold it for 1 or 2 seconds, and that's it. So this one is a little longer. I'm wondering if I should cut a few of the strands off. I think I'll just leave it. Again, give it a little wiggle, 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 wiggle. Make sure each end has a nice dot on it, and then just slide it. And then I usually just run the back of it across my finger to make sure I don't have a lot of excess. And even when I put on lashes, I go in with some mascara just so that, because I don't do like the full lash across, so to sort of blend everything together. And I'm using the Prometics, the brown one. So just to give it more of just, not to really make it pop, just to kind of blend everything together. And mostly on the parts where I don't have the lashes, but I definitely do go dig in at the base, dig in at the base, and then lightly go up. Always digging in at the base of the lashes. And the reason I like using this mascara is it really doesn't transfer onto my eyelids, because that seems to be my problem a lot. After I put on the mascara, I usually have a line of mascara that has touch my upper lip. I guess because my lashes are long, that might not be a problem for you, but I like that this does not do that. And I'm kind of on the fence whether I want to do the bottom lashes or not, but I'm thinking I'm going to. So that's what it looks like with the bottom lash done. So you decide, is it for you or not? I'm already committed, so I have to do the other side. I think it looks good. Again, for the eyes, just to brighten them up a little bit, I have this Sommé Brow Lift highlighter. I never use it as a brow lift. I always use it on the waterline because it's a nice color. It's not pink, it's not white. I just really like this color. I just sort of came upon it at CVS one day. So hopefully I'll see if I can link it. I'm gonna put that on the waterline. So the last thing to finish off the eyes are gonna be the brows, because my brows are still too highly lifted. Until they come down, I'm gonna have to do a little something to make myself look a little less Spock. Mr. Spock, Captain Spock. He wasn't the captain, right? Mr. Spock. So I'm going to fill in, of course, the base, like I always would. And then I'm just gonna try and bring it down a little bit on the sides. We'll see if that works or not. I'm also gonna bring it down a little bit underneath, because even here, it's just a little too high. So the last thing that we can emphasize are the lips. Since I had nothing done with my lips, let's do some lip liner. And I think I'm gonna overline it a little bit too. So by overlining, right where the pink meets the skin, but just a smudge over, just to sort of give it a little more of a pop. And then to add to the pop, I'm gonna add in the Too Faced Lip Injection Maximum Plump. If you like a little tingle, which I kind of like, doesn't bother me, before I put my lipstick on, I'm just gonna let that sit for a minute or two. So while we're waiting for that tingle to set in, why don't we decide if we want to do some highlighter up on the cheek? I love highlighter, and I'm just excited about my new Rare Beauty highlighter. So I'm gonna say yes. If I regret it, you can learn from my mistake and not do it, but I've got nowhere to go. So I'm just gonna put it on. Let me go back in and blend it with my blush brush. This is a nice highlighter. I am digging this Rare Beauty highlighter. I love something that sparkles. Anything shiny and sparkly makes me happy. I love it. Yeah, I really, 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 really love it. This is gonna be my top favorite highlighter. I can feel it. What have I forgotten? Oh, my lipstick. I haven't finished with my lipsticks. It's tingly. Okay, have you guys heard of this Peri Para lipstick? It's like a stain. It's so cheap. I found it on Amazon. Comes in a lot of great colors. This is a nice pink color. What do they call it? Moon. So this one is called Moon. I like pink, but they have got every color you could imagine, I think. They've got a lot of colors. Maybe not every. You can probably imagine something they don't have. And it's like a stain, so I can get that on there and it lasts. I'm one of those people that, and it's weird, I intermittent fast. I don't eat until late in the day. I can put my lipstick on in the morning and an hour later it's gone. I don't know why that is, but this little cheap lip stain works great for my lips. And then when that one dries down a little bit, I'll just put a gloss over top of that. But that's the makeup. So now I'm gonna go do my hair, just bring it down and see how that all just pulls everything together. If you have longer hair that you can bring down into your face, that really helps. It's gonna really help cover up my swelling on this side. And I can even show you too how I use the headbands. That's really cute too, because you put the headband and then you actually pull hair out that covers, you know, this part of your face. So let me go do that and I will be back. Doesn't the hair do everything? I just feel like that's the cherry on top that just makes everything look fantastic. So we're done. You know, I'll say I don't even put earrings in because it's still a little swollen down there. I don't want to do anything like that. I put something a little higher because I do have bruising that's coming down. So that might be something, maybe you want to wear something a little higher just to hide as much as you can. Maybe even a bright color to sort of, you know, brighten up your face a little bit. I just went with black. But I'm not going anywhere anyway, so I've done this all for you guys, but it was fun. It gave me something to do. I just feel like I get tired really quickly. I don't know, like I think it might be my age. I turned 60 and usually I snap back from things pretty quickly, but I did get that little scare where my face, you know, kind of really seized up. So I have been really taking it easy. It's not the way I usually roll. I am so active and it's killing me, but I just figure this is like 6 weeks out of my life. I'm going to do whatever it takes to make sure the swelling comes down, the bruising goes away, and I can get back to my normal fun life. So this is like just a hairstyle that I think is good because it comes right down into your face. And I also told you that I've been playing around with headbands. I got a few different kinds. This particular kind came in, oh my gosh, I don't know, for like less than $10 probably on Amazon, 12 colors. Probably I'll wear the black, the white, and the pink. Let me show you how cute it is. Just take like a strip on each side, and I just kind of take a clip. Clip on each side, then I'm just gonna pull my hair back out of the way. pull up the headband. You can put this little knot wherever you want, in the middle, on the side, whatever you think looks cute. I can't see, I'm doing this without looking in a mirror, so I'm not even sure where it went. But now I take out that. And then if you just adjust these little strands, and if you have scars that are showing right here, you can switch it over and use like the wide part and make that go right across the top. But I don't find my scars are showing, so I actually like to put it a little farther back. And then just bring all the hair forward. What do we think? Cute? Gives us an option, right? So thanks for hanging out with me. If you stayed all the way to the end, yay, we must be besties. So comment in the bottom and let me know you hang out the whole time and listen to me jibber, jabber, jabber, jibber. Anyways, if you have not yet subscribed, we do a lot of fun things on this channel. We're an older gals group, and we just like to cover everything from you name it. And if we're not doing it, put it in the comments and we'll do it. So that's it for today. I am so glad you were here. I have a series that I am putting out where I have everything from how to prep for the facelift to week 1, week 2, week 3. I'm covering it all. So that's it for today. Love you guys. Bye.